name is Troels, and in this video we're going to take a deep and comprehensive look at our Hybrid Tools Synphony effects and drum sections. This is the largest volume of hybrid tools we've ever created, and we really did our best to sort of push the hybrid game. In many ways, we've sort of defined a whole category here that's used in so many movies and trailers and TV shows and all that stuff and video games. But this time around, we wanted to create something new. In this video, I'm going to demonstrate all our core effects. So some of them you're sort of used to. We got new mega horns, we got new downers, but we're also introducing a variety of new categories that we think are sort of going to pimp up the hybrid game a little bit. But before we get into the effects, let me just preface that we have two other videos, one demonstrating the symphony orchestra and our synthesizers, and then another one demonstrating all the presets. This library comes with a bunch of presets. It's very big, so there's a lot you can do with it. The symphony is really interesting as well. We actually redesigned a traditional symphony orchestra with synthesizers. So we did all the standard articulations and multi-sampled them in round robin and everything, and sort of trying to mimic what an orchestra would sound like with synthesizers. And you can hear it quite elaborately in the demos as well. But there's another video demonstrating all that stuff. So let's just get into it here. This video is really focused on our Hybrid Tools Synphony effects and our drum kits. This is our drum sequence over here. But let's get into it here. So you click down here and you zoom into the interface here. We have 10 different categories of effects in this library. We have our Dopplers, our downers, our X machines, our mega horns, substrikes, whooshes, both slow and fast, and then we got tonal boomers and downers, tonal downers. And obviously some of the categories you're used to, you probably played with the downers, you're familiar with that and the mega horns, which is the most common trailer sound. But there's a variety of new categories. The Dopplers sort of have this very speedy, imagine like big items passing by you. That sort of sound like when you're on the freeway, you hear all the cars and all that stuff. So we built a variety of sounds. Let me just show you here. And these are great. You can hear in the demos as well for transitional sounds in your scores. They sort of give that transitional element, and you can use them in many, many different ways. Obviously, you can use them for actual objects as well if you want to do that, but I find them really musically interesting. We also here in the high range of the keyboard have something that mimics like a race car, actual race cars passing by, the Dopplers. Let me add that every key here is actually a sample, so there's a variety of sounds here. And we also reintroduced our octave control here, so you can control the tonal aspects. So let's say you want to go down like a couple of semitones to make it fit your score, you can do that, and it's all here. And we actually have 3 different versions of the effects. This is running in Time Machine. We also have a Time Machine Pro and a DFD version as well, depending on how you want to sync it to your score and all that. Let me try to do one thing here before I introduce the other categories. Let me try to turn on the gator here. It's actually cool. You can gate, and obviously this is tempo synced to your composition as well. And the gate is awesome if you want a more sort of synced texture to your score as well. Let me just show. And something I like to do is actually to assign the length of the gate to my mod wheel as well. So you just right click here. So as you can see, I can control the length of the gate here as well. Let me just show. So you can hear together with the filter sort of expands and contracts the length of the gate as well. Let me shut this off here and show you another category here that you're probably familiar with, our downers. And these are also super fun to gate. You really get a lot more leverage out of them. Let's try the X machines. This is one of our new categories. This is a very synthesized, artificial, intelligent kind of sound. Also cool with the gate, but let me just show you without it first here. So in essence, they start with a very sort of consistent sound, and then they all morph into craziness. Let me show you the reversed version here. There's your Dolby Surround TXS, totally. Let me try to gate this as well. Let's gate and reverse it here as well. And obviously, the gating is also tempo sync, so let me try to slow down half a tempo here. We are at around 100 BPM right now, so this is half tempo of what you just heard. And let's move it forward here again in reverse and try the next bank here. And this time, let me also show down here in the keys how you can key control the pitch of these things. So in real time, you can just hold down whatever keys you want, and then you can start playing the tonal pitch control down here as well. Okay, that was interesting. Let me switch the gate off here and try one more time. All right, let's switch on here to another familiar category, our mega horns. These are these loud ocean liner kind of sound that you have heard in a million different places, and they're not going out of style. It's kind of funny. People always talk about trailers like, oh, this is gonna die soon, and people not using choirs anymore, and some of these things just seem to stay. So for the fourth time, we are introducing more mega horns. These are more synthetic. The whole concept with this library, with the Symphony, was everything is created with analog synthesizers. So these are different, but they really, really have a nice punch to them. All right, so let me just take this last one here. Let's try to reverse it first. Okay, and let's try to gate this reverse stuff as well. And let me get the rate up here full speed. And there's another cool trick. Let's say you really like the sound we just had, this one. You click the stretch button here, and it will actually take that very sound and stretch it over a couple of octaves here, so you got even more tonal control, I'm sure. So it's a super nice feature if you want to have more tonal control over a singular sound. And obviously you can also control the speed up here. Let me try to unreverse here and show the speed up here as well. This is cool. So it's awesome because it really allows you to dial in the sound to your composition tempo-wise. So you can really custom fit the sound. It's something we didn't have in the older library as well. Just awesome. It really just allows everything to sync a little better. Let me try to play a little more here with the mega horns. Let's try to put a little more pitch envelope on it, add some offset, like go dial into the sound here, and maybe get a little more into the chaos effects here as well. So let me just try a couple of things. And something I love to use, and we actually haven't showed that in other videos before, but our filter is actually step-based. So if you click here, you can actually control sort of the filtering motion, and it creates more variation in the sound. And this is obviously tempo synced as well. You can hear a little more difference right now. So there's a lot of things you can do here. We have another video where I'm demonstrating all the presets, which really goes deeper into all the different things you can do here. It's quite flexible once you get underneath the hood. And if you're ever like confused, like what does all these things mean, you can click up here on the eye icon and you can see what all the different parameters in the library does. And we also have a manual, of course, if you want to learn more about it. But let's move on here to our next category, our substrikes. So these are more underscoring, kind of eerie textures. Let's get to a familiar category here called whooshes slow, and then we'll go to whooshes fast. And then I'm so excited to introduce you to these two guys down here, which I think are some of the freshest and most novel sounds I've heard in a long time in the sort of hybrid category. So just wait and see. And again, if the whoosh is not matching that transition you want to do, you can just play around with the speed here. Let's try to make it slower. And it's funny, even with these guys here, let's try to take the speed down again. There's so much you could do. Let's just quickly reverse it and gate it. And let me try to play a couple of whooshes here. So this one obviously is going to be moved in real time together with the fader in here. And you can actually right click on any of these guys and control them whatever fader you want. It's a really cool way of making more live transitions. I think it gives a little more life to the samples. Instead of just triggering normal sound here you can sculpt it a little more. All right, let me just unclick it here before we go to the next one so I don't keep the distortion here. But it's really easy. You can see how quickly it is, and that's really what this library is about. I don't want to create a million different menus that are so hard to use. This is easy. You can do so many things. You can tempo sync it. You can control the pitch. You have all the main parameters here up front. You can do randomization of patches. You can also use chaos, which actually randomizes 1500 parameters at the same time low. So let me just try that actually. Let me click the chaos button here. Everything in here is going to get reconfigured and just go crazy, and we'll see what happens. Chaos. All right, that's definitely one type of chaos. Let me try again here. And again, once you click this, everything gets randomized underneath the hood. And this is again one of those things that we don't necessarily need you to go in here and click and do all these things, even though you can completely do it. But out here, click a button, chaos it is. And oh, it actually switched to the double here. Let's go down to the switch again, hear what it sounds like. So it's just a fun and intuitive way of just having stuff happen, and sometimes it's great, sometimes it's just chaotic. And obviously when you click it here, you're gonna see that it completely randomizes the category of sounds here as well. And if you click the stack function here, which allows you to stack any kind of sound bank here you want, you can actually chaos those as well. And you're gonna see it's just gonna randomize all these categories. So let's just try, I don't know what this is. All right, let me also take the pitch envelope here and move it up to the middle again. Obviously, this means that it's bending the sound, and this is the opposite motion. But in the middle here, it's just straight. Check it out. All right, that's nice. Let's remove the gate here and see what we got. So that's the power of chaos, and that's the power of chaos stacking as well. Let me just try one more here and we'll see what happens. So as I said in the beginning of the video, this is really a massive step forward in terms of the ease of manipulation. You can see me do this in real time. I'm just clicking a couple of buttons and new magic happens. And it's really, I think our philosophy moving forward is to create more wild tools, but that are easy to use. Let's get you back to the music. Let's get you away from all the million different options, but have enough that you can totally own it and make it your own here. This was just 2 clicks away from awesomeness. Let's go here to the whooshes fast. We might still have some chaos artifacts. Anyway, I'm just gonna let it stay here. There's a couple of things that I activated. Let me try to do a little more fun with the whooshes fast here. I'm gonna control the speed and pitch envelope. So, you know, it's just easy to sit and have fun. The offset button can be really interesting. You can almost make these sounds a little too big, but sometimes you can make percussive sounds by simply just chopping into the sample so much that it more becomes like a little noisy kind of sound here. Let's go back and normalize everything here. I think we're good. Let's go to the tonal boomers, one of my favorite categories. Aren't they delicious? I think these are so fresh and wild, and the way we did them, there's a sort of kick sound in the beginning that sort of makes a very percussive definition, striky kind of sound, and then you got a bunch of analog synthesizer underneath, sort of warming up the sound and making it bloom and becoming a tonal boomer. Let's try to have a little more real-time fun here with the tonal boomers. Let's try to gate them and play around with a little more with the features down here. Okay, that's a fucking cool sound. Let me try to click the stretch button here. Anyway, I think you get the point. We are crazy and like doing crazy stuff. Let me go here to the tonal downers. This is a little like our traditional downer, but there's a tonality to it. So you can hear a difference. It's not just a normal, but it has a more tonal flavor to it. Aren't they awesome? Let me do a little more playfulness with this one. Let's try also go here in the effects. So I'm going to do a couple of things here on the front, and then we'll go into the chaos effects and do a little more love. It's kind of funny. You're actually experiencing in real time what I'm experiencing, and it's funny. Like I actually thought it was going to be a more epic sound. This is almost like more of a little rhythmic signature, dancey EDM kind of sound. Let me just, for the fun of it, let's try to stack the tonal boomers and tonal downers here, and let's try with a mega horn and a. Nah, a downer is probably too much. Let's take a doubler on top of that, and let me just let's just stay. No, let me just shut the filters off here, and then let's go back and check it out. All right, so that was a little insight into our effects. We actually have a variety of presets that are doing a variety of the things I'm showing here today, and much more elaborate stuff as well. And we have another video where I'm demonstrating those, but let's move over here to the drums as well. We actually have some phenomenal drums in the library. So I'm just gonna switch the windows here, and here you got our drum step sequencer. And obviously for the lack of better entertainment, you can actually type in little words in it here. I typed in ADO, let's see what it sounds like. And obviously you can actually, I'm sorry if I'm boring you, but you can actually type in words in real time. This is obviously not the correct purpose of this step sequencer. I'm just sitting here and entertaining myself, but let me just type a couple of words while the sequence is running. Let's just see what happens. And obviously, this is the totally incorrect way of using the drum step sequencer. Let me just try to create an actual beat here. Let me just trigger the same beat here and just try to manipulate a little down here. There's so many things you can do just with the simple switches you got here. All right, man, so I think we've made it to the end of this madness. I appreciate you being with me all the way here. We actually have 2 more videos. We have one demonstrating our symphony orchestra, which is sort of the title of the library as well, where we rebuilt an entire symphony orchestra with synthesizers, with analog synthesizers. So, and the video also contains more sort of traditional synthesizer elements as well. And then we have another video that also demonstrates all our presets. The library actually comes with a variety of presets. You've seen me mangle a little bit today, but these presets really, really go deep in terms of transforming the interface in front of you. There's a bunch of things that can be done that are really unique, whether it's a step filter in here that can really be used, or simply just mangling all these different parameters together. There's so much underneath the hood of this library, and we just want to make it easy again. You can control so many things here. You can go deeper in here, or you can just use our presets. It's all there for grabs. So anyway, hope to see you in the next video. Thank you so much.